Welcome back, everyone. It is always a joy to have our next guest in our home. We've loved following his family's journey on the Hallmark Channel original show, Meet the Peetes.
Yay!
Welcome back, Rodney Peete, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Look at that.
Thank you
So
very
excited.
much.
You see that warm
I'm telling you.
reception?
I'm telling you.
People
look
love
at
you,
you
Rodney.
guys.
That's a lot more than normal. That's it. Really
Well,
is,
I love
man.
you guys.
Thank
Wow.
you.
all
We
that matters.
appreciate that.
You're the best. You're the best. We love your show, too.
Thank
And
you.
In fact, last week we got to see your great family make a road trip, something that we love to do as a family, too. Road trip to Arizona
Yes.
for your parents' 57th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
That is a big deal, and I know it was very inspiring for you in particular. Put things in perspective.
It was amazing. But first of all, do you drive on the road trips?
I do drive on
Oh,
the
you
road
do?
trips, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so now you're making me feel bad. Because Holly drove.
We share, though. We share a little bit.
Okay. So Holly drove on the road trip. And when she brought it up that we're going to take an RV to the Grand Canyon and then go see my parents, I was like, okay, let's hire a driver. It'd be all good. We'll just hire a driver and we'll hang out and have a good time. No, that's not the way you do it. We don't want some stranger driving the RV and hearing all the things that we're talking about. I got to drive or you got to drive. I said, I'm not driving. I'm not driving. I said, okay, I'll drive.
This is why we love watching the
Yeah,
show.
I said,
This is
okay.
exactly why we love it.
And I stuck to my guns and she stuck to hers and said, okay, I'll drive.
Listen,
She took a
said-
lesson.
She said she had a good time.
Yeah,
She
she did.
took a 30-minute lesson and drove the RV.
It's the best. Well,
30
for an
minutes?
RV.
Yeah, 30-minute
I
lesson.
mean, it's not like having like a big
And that
rig license.
RV, by the way, was like, I think a foot from where you need an extra license.
That's right, like an
Right.
18-wheeler
I
license.
didn't
Yes, you
realize
do.
that.
So we were lucky.
But when you got there, that was pretty special for you to see that with your parents, wasn't it?
It was.
And how did it put things in perspective for you?
Well, first of all, the trip was great. And seeing the Grand Canyon, I grew up in Arizona.
Right.
So, and I'd been there a couple times before I was 10. But I didn't remember it like I saw it with my kids.
Right.
So it was majestic. It was amazing. And then to be able to go with the whole family to see my parents on their 57th anniversary was amazing. And to hear them talk about their relationship and their love, it just brought it all back to my childhood and growing up with them. And they were my role model. I mean, you don't always know it when you're growing up, but as you grow older and then you have kids, you start to become your parents. And you start to say things like that your parents said to you.
Never say.
Yes, and you start to do that and you're like, oh.
But in
Dad,
that
you
way,
see.
it's a good
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
It
you're
is.
modeling their love and
Yeah.
their a sense of family the way you have
Yeah.
in your household. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
I mean, what a
No.
great example you and Holly have had. I mean, listen, it's nothing to sneeze at how long the two of you have been married. You've been married.
23 years.
That's a
Yeah.
23 years.
Remember, in Hollywood, that's like dog years. You got to
It is.
multiply by
That's
7.
like
It is. You got that
732
right
in
there.
this
Something like
town.
that.
It
Something
certainly
like
is.
that.
It is.
Let's talk about your dad. I mean, your
Yeah.
dad is a legend. Willie Peete.
Yeah.
He was a legendary NFL coach for years. The Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay,
Right.
Chicago, Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, you grew up around that. I mean, it's like a football dynasty
I
in your
did.
house. What kind of coach was your dad?
You know what? He was a coach that, to this day, I run into people that he coached that absolutely love him. I mean, I was just at the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about that. But he coached a lot of different players over the years, and they all say the same thing. They all loved the way he and his relationship with them was. For me, growing up, he always brought me around. He always allowed me and included me. Like, he brought me to work. He brought me to the locker room. He brought me into the environment, which for me, as I grew up, it allowed me to basically not be in awe of any situation.
Right.
Right?
I love
So as I grew, I was like, I'd been there before.
Right,
Right.
right.
I'd been there before.
But it makes me wonder, with a dad like Willie Peete, how does your football coach in high school even attempt coaching? He's like, well, his dad is Willie
Yeah.
Peete. What do I do
Yeah.
here?
Well, he did a great job of backing off. Like around 11 or 12, because he was always there. He was like, I would, Dad, let's go out in the backyard. Let's go play. And I played everything. And so I played basketball, I played tennis, I did everything. He was always there. But at 11 or 12, he said, now it's time for me to kind of back off and let your coaches coach you. Now, if you want, advice or, how to approach the game mentally, I'm always here. But I need to step back and allow the coaches to coach you because you need to have that experience. And I think that is missed today with a lot of fathers who have kids that play, that they want to be too involved a little bit. And it's okay to be involved, but you got to also let your kids go out and grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, we can all learn from that, I think.
Yeah.
This Sunday's episode, I'm going to jump back to the show here for a second. This Sunday's episode, I mean, it shows you guys renovating your family room. There's a certain couch. Speaking of football, this is a certain sofa that they spend a lot of hours watching some football games on. Am I
Endless
right?
Super Bowls, I'm
And
sure.
a little bit of discussion about whether to get rid of it or
boy.
not. Let's take a look.
First thing that needs to go is these sorry, tired green couches. I can't do these couches anymore. They gotta go.
I love you, but there's one thing I will put my foot down on, is these couches are not going anywhere.
Why?
Why? Couches are like pets. You get used to them. And we've had them such a long time that they're part of me. This is my space. This is where I take my naps. This is where I hang with Freddie and Harriet. This is like my Archie bunker. It's
First of all,
conformed to my body.
Just the fact that you said this is my Archie bunker furniture, now I'm really getting rid of this stuff.
Perhaps that was an analogy.
I know, right? Right?
He was a little off, you know. He was
They're
a
like
little
probably
crazy.
dents in that couch that we don't want to really talk about, right?
So are we gonna? Is the couch gonna go?
We'll find out.
We'll find
We'll
out.
find out.
We're gonna
We'll
find out.
out.
You know, one of the greatest things about this show is you guys show all sides of everything in the house. You're not hiding anything. All the layers, the good, the bad, the ugly. Holly and I talk about this all the time. Lots of lightheartedness, but also lots of really important, in-depth conversations. So this Sunday, we also see RJ hosting his first RJ's Place job fair and the strides he has really taken to help young adults with autism.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, signing on to do this show is like if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right? You got to be authentic with it because the viewers, the people, they want to see authenticity, right? So we open up, we let it happen. And RJ, you know, from the time he was born and then when he was diagnosed, it was about school. Can we find the right diagnosis? Can we find the right treatments? Can we find the right school? Can we help him mainstream? As he's gotten older, it's been friends. Okay, we got to make sure he has friends and he gets invited to things. Then it's like, okay, 18, 19, is he going to college or is he getting a job? Well, he was lucky enough to get a job with the Dodgers, right?
Crazy.
So that becomes the forgotten kids when it comes to autism and special needs is what do we do with the young adults, right? How do we approach them? Because everything is focused on early diagnosis and education early.
Great point.
You know what I'm saying? So when these kids get to be 18, 19, 20 years old, how do we get them to live on their own? How do we get them a job? And sometimes the scare of the word autism or special needs keeps companies from hiring kids like RJ. And so we wanted to put it out there like, it's okay. Let RJ show you some of the other kids that are just like him that can be productive in your company. So we created this job fair and RJ hosted it. It's amazing. And we've got some amazing companies that came on board that really helps a lot of these kids that are just looking for opportunities.
I mean, what you and Holly do with the Holly Rod Foundation, the whole thing is so awesome. I mean, aside from the show, there's so much you do privately, which is so great. I have to say thank you so
No,
much.
it's true.
There's so many people at home.
Great takeaways from the show, what you do
Thank
both
you.
on camera and behind the scenes as well,
Thank
like you
you.
point out. Deb. And one of the great things also you got coming up in this Sunday's episode, well, it's great for us especially because we got like one of our family members involved. We got a special announcement. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, our good friend Ken Wingard comes and he's part of this episode. And look, I'm gonna get yelled at for this comment that I'm gonna make, but he helps us, I would say, let me say this right. He helps us share in our design goals, right?
Okay.
So he's
But-
like a design counselor.
But to
I
decipher
hear.
that, he keeps Holly from being a hoarder
Oh,
and a
no.
pack rat, right?
Holly's a
So-
hoarder?
I was just watching.
I wouldn't go so far as calling her a hoarder. I would say pack rat.
You were doing so well,
Pack-
Rodney. You chose your words so
Pack
carefully.
bunny. Pack
Bunny. That's
Pack
much
bunny.
nicer.
Is that
Or
better?
Pack mouse.
Pack
That's
mouse.
nicer.
All right.
than
Right.
a
We're gonna talk
pack
more
mouse.
about it because you're
Yeah.
sticking around.
Yeah, I'm sticking around.
Sticking
Ken's
around.
we're gonna do some
That's right.
DIY stuff
That's
later.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. We're
absolutely.
looking forward to that as well. Everybody, be
gosh,
sure to
that's
watch
funny.
Rodney and the whole family and Meet the Peetes this Sunday, March 10th at 9, 8 Central, right here on Hallmark Channel.